I want to say thank you so much for joining us on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, you need to do it because we're constantly adding new messages literally every week and sometimes even more than once a week. I believe that the content and the messages that you hear will do nothing but boost your faith and lift your spirit. That's our desire, and point you to Jesus, the only answer. And would you do one other thing? Would you, when you have a message speak to you, share it with a friend, share it with a family member. This is one of the greatest ways you can be an evangelist. You can be someone who presents the gospel to people. All you have to do is use your technology and your influence online to let people know about this YouTube channel. Thanks again for subscribing. Do it today, and I know that you'll be blessed as we share the Word of God together.
Have you ever wondered why life suddenly becomes uncomfortable right when you thought you were finally settling in? Why doors you prayed for swing shut without warning? Or why people you thought would be with you forever quietly fade from your life? What if I told you these aren't signs that God has forgotten you, but that He's positioning you? I want you to imagine this. A baby eagle, safe and warm in the nest, suddenly feels the soft feathers being stripped away. The once cozy home becomes sharp and uncomfortable. The eaglet doesn't understand. It thinks something is wrong. But the mother eagle knows the nest must be stirred, because the eaglet was never created to stay there. It was born to fly. Could it be that the discomfort you feel, the closed doors you face, the unexpected changes you didn't ask for are not obstacles at all, but divine signals? Signals that heaven is preparing to launch you into a season you can't yet see. By the time you leave here today, you'll see that what feels like loss could actually be the runway for your greatest elevation. And the very things you're resisting might just be the hand of God moving you from where you've been to where you were always meant to be. When God is preparing to elevate your life, one of the first and most surprising signs is that the place where you've been comfortable suddenly starts to feel uncomfortable. It's not that the people, the job, or the environment have necessarily changed drastically. It's that something inside of you has shifted. What used to feel safe now feels small. What once gave you joy now feels like it's no longer enough. This inner stirring is often God's way of telling you that your current season is ending and a new one is about to begin. Think about an eagle and its young. In the early days, the nest is soft, lined with feathers and leaves, a place of warmth and protection. But as the eaglets grow, the mother begins to remove the soft layers, exposing the rough sticks underneath. The nest becomes uncomfortable, and the eaglets no longer want to stay in it. Why? Because the mother knows it's time for them to fly. The discomfort is not cruelty, it's preparation for their next stage. In the same way, God will allow certain things in your life to shift so you no longer feel at ease where you are. Sometimes that discomfort comes in the form of restlessness. You can't explain it, but deep down, you sense that where you are is not where you're meant to stay. You start asking bigger questions. Is there more to life than this? Why do I feel stuck? That restlessness is a divine alarm clock, nudging you to wake up to a greater purpose. Other times, the discomfort comes through challenges. Maybe the work you used to breeze through now feels draining. Maybe relationships that once felt effortless now feel strained. It's not that you're failing, it's that God is shifting your assignment. He knows you're capable of more than you're currently doing, and He's trying to get you to move. The danger in seasons of comfort is that we can settle. Comfort zones are wonderful for rest, but they can be dangerous for growth. If you stay in a place too long, you risk missing the opportunities God has ahead. That's why when He wants to elevate you, He'll let that comfort start to erode. He'll stir the nest so you have no choice but to spread your wings. Discomfort is often misinterpreted as something going wrong, but it can actually be a sign that things are going right. You might pray, "Lord, make things easier," but God may be answering, "No, I'm making you stronger." He allows the unease not to punish you, but to propel you. It's His way of saying, "I have something better for you, but you won't step into it if you keep clinging to the old." The challenge is that most of us resist discomfort. We try to fix it, control it, or go back to the way things were. But instead of fighting it, we need to recognize it as a signpost. It's an indication that God is getting ready to do something new in your life. You may not see the full picture yet, but He's positioning you for it. So if you're feeling unsettled right now, if your once comfortable nest feels like it's poking you, don't panic. Don't assume it's the enemy. Take it to God in prayer and ask, "Lord, are you stirring me for something greater?" The truth is, you wouldn't be feeling this shift if He wasn't preparing you for flight. You're not being pushed out to fall. You're being pushed out to soar. And once you take that step, you'll realize that the very discomfort you tried to avoid was the tool God used to launch you into your next level. One of the clearest and most unexpected signs that God is about to elevate your life is when old doors start closing, sometimes suddenly, sometimes without explanation. These can be opportunities you thought were secure, relationships you believed would last forever, or routines that once seemed stable but now are no longer available to you. When this happens, it's easy to feel like you've been rejected, abandoned, or even forgotten. But in the kingdom of God, a closed door is rarely just about loss. It's often about direction. We naturally assume that if something ends, it must mean failure. But many times, God will intentionally shut certain doors because He knows they no longer lead to where He's taking you. He doesn't close doors to punish you. He closes them to protect you. Think about it. If you could see the entire road ahead, you might understand why that job didn't work out, why that relationship ended, or why that opportunity slipped through your fingers. But since we can't always see what God sees, we have to trust that His no is just as important as His yes. The Bible gives us a beautiful example of this in Acts 16. Paul and his companions wanted to go preach the gospel in Asia, but the Holy Spirit wouldn't allow them. To them, it probably didn't make sense in the moment. Why would God stop them from doing something good? But that closed door wasn't rejection. It was redirection. God had a better plan. Instead of Asia, He was sending them to Macedonia, where an entire region would be impacted. That same principle is at work in our lives. Sometimes, a closed door is God's way of saving you from a path that would have drained you, distracted you, or delayed your destiny. If you had stayed in that relationship, maybe it would have pulled you away from His plan. If you had taken that job, maybe it would have stolen your peace. If you had forced that opportunity, maybe it would have left you stuck in a season you were never meant to live in. His love for you is too great to let you settle for less than His best. Closed doors can also be a test of trust. In those moments, you have to decide whether you'll cling to your own understanding or lean into God's wisdom. It's not always easy. Our human nature wants to knock harder, push the door open, or even break it down. But when God shuts a door, forcing it open will only bring frustration. Instead, He asks you to believe that if this door has closed, it's because He has something better prepared. There's also something powerful that happens when a door closes. You begin to seek God more intentionally. You start praying, "Lord, what are you doing? Where are you leading me?" And that's exactly where He wants you, leaning on Him, listening for His voice, and trusting His timing. Often, the next open door will appear when you least expect it, and you'll look back and realize the closed one was the greatest blessing in disguise. If you're in a season where doors seem to be shutting around you, don't see it as the end. See it as God's hand redirecting your steps. What looks like rejection is often protection. What feels like a setback is actually a setup. And when He finally opens the right door, it will be so clear, so perfectly aligned with your purpose, that you'll understand why the others had to close. You'll see that every no was necessary to guide you into His yes. And you'll walk through that new door knowing it was prepared for you all along. Another powerful and often overlooked sign that God is about to elevate your life is when you feel an unusual pull toward deeper prayer, fasting, and time in His presence. It's not just the routine of saying quick prayers in the morning or reading a verse here and there. This is different. It's a sudden, almost unexplainable desire to draw closer to Him in a way you haven't before. You might find yourself wanting to worship more, craving quiet moments with God, or feeling an urgency to open your Bible and really dig into His Word. This is not coincidence. It's preparation. When God is about to shift your life to a higher level, He first shifts your spirit. Before He changes your surroundings, He changes your heart. He knows that where He's taking you will require a stronger foundation, deeper faith, and sharper discernment. So He starts pulling you away from distractions and drawing you into His presence so that He can equip you for the next season. Prayer and fasting are not just spiritual activities, they are divine alignments. They position you to hear God clearly and to see situations from His perspective. When you pray, you're not just talking to God, you're allowing Him to talk to you. And when you fast, you're not just giving something up, you're creating space for Him to fill you with wisdom, strength, and direction. Jesus Himself modeled this. Before launching into His public ministry, He spent 40 days in the wilderness fasting and praying. That season of spiritual preparation was what enabled Him to walk in power and authority when the time came. This deeper pull toward God is also a form of spiritual protection. As God gets ready to elevate you, the enemy will do everything he can to distract, discourage, or derail you. But when you're anchored in prayer, you're not easily moved. When you're in the habit of fasting and seeking God's face, you're more sensitive to His voice and less likely to be deceived by counterfeits. That's why God often stirs this hunger in you before the promotion comes, so that you're spiritually fortified for the battles that may accompany it. It's important to note that this desire for deeper prayer isn't always about what you feel. Sometimes it's not an emotional high, but a quiet conviction. I sense that you must spend time with God, even if you don't fully understand why. You might feel led to wake up earlier than usual to pray. You might sense God telling you to cut back on certain activities so you can spend more time in His Word. These nudges are signals that He is drawing you into intimacy with Him so He can reveal His plans. During this season, you may also notice that your prayers change. Instead of simply asking for things, you start seeking His will. Instead of just talking, you start listening more. Your spirit becomes more in tune with His Spirit, and your priorities shift. The things that once consumed your attention lose their grip on you, and your heart begins to focus on what truly matters. If you find yourself in this place hungrier for God than you've ever been, don't ignore it, lean into it. This is a sign that He is preparing you for more. The deeper your roots go in Him now, the higher you'll be able to rise when the time comes. And when the elevation arrives, you won't just be stepping into a new level, you'll be stepping into it with clarity, authority, and unshakable faith, because you prepared your spirit before you ever stepped through the door. Another surprising sign that God is preparing to elevate your life is when certain people you thought would always be part of your journey begin to fade away. This can be one of the hardest signals to accept, because relationships often carry deep emotional connections. These might be friends you've known for years, mentors who once guided you, or even family members who have walked closely with you. When God starts shifting your circle, it can feel confusing, even painful. But in His wisdom, He knows that not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next season. Sometimes these changes happen gradually. People become less available, conversations grow shorter, and the connection that once felt so strong begins to weaken. Other times, it's sudden. Disagreement, a betrayal, or an unexpected change in circumstances that creates distance. No matter how it happens, the truth remains. Relationships are often seasonal. Some are designed to last a lifetime, but many are meant for a chapter, not the entire story. God sees what we can't. He knows the assignments He has placed on our lives and the environments in which we'll need to thrive. Certain people may have been perfect for the season you just walked through, but are not aligned for where you're going next. This isn't about them being bad or wrong. It's about purpose. If you try to drag everyone from your old season into your new one, you may find yourself weighed down by people who can't handle the altitude you're about to reach. Think about Abraham. When God called him to leave his homeland and go to the place He would show him, Abraham brought his nephew Lot along. At first, it seemed harmless, but eventually, their herds and households grew so large that strife broke out between their people. The land couldn't support them both. It was only after Abraham and Lot separated that God revealed the full extent of His promise to Abraham. In the same way, some divine revelations and blessings can only come after certain separations. It's also worth noting that sometimes God removes people not because they're against you, but because their presence could unintentionally hold you back. They may not share your vision, understand your calling, or have the capacity to walk at the pace God is setting for you. They might try to talk you out of taking a leap of faith, or convince you to settle for less than what God has promised. Out of His love for you, God will protect your destiny by removing influences that could limit it. This kind of pruning can hurt deeply because our human instinct is to hold on. We remember the good times, the shared experiences, and the emotional bonds. But holding on to relationships that God is trying to end can lead to unnecessary struggle. Instead of resisting, we need to learn to release. Releasing doesn't mean dishonoring or forgetting the value that person brought into your life. It means blessing them, letting them go, and trusting that God is aligning you with the right people for your future. When God shifts your relationships, it's not about isolation, it's about preparation. He's not leaving you empty-handed, He's making room for divine connections. These new relationships will align with your purpose, encourage your growth, and help carry you into the next level of your calling. So if people are drifting away, don't cling to what God is trying to move. Trust that He knows exactly who you'll need in your next season, and that those people will appear at just the right time. Your destiny requires the right company, and God will make sure you have it. Another significant sign that God is about to elevate your life is when unexpected opportunities start to appear, doors you never knocked on, invitations you never anticipated, and blessings that seem to come out of nowhere. These moments often feel almost too good to be true, but they are part of God's way of showing you that He can place you exactly where you need to be, even without your effort. He is not limited by your resume, your qualifications, or your network, When it's time for your elevation, He can open doors in an instant that no man can shut. Many times, these opportunities arrive when you feel the least prepared. You might still be healing from a setback, working through uncertainty, or wondering if you even have what it takes. But that's exactly how God works. He delights in using what seems ordinary to accomplish the extraordinary. This way, when the blessing comes, there's no doubt about who made it happen. The credit doesn't go to human effort or coincidence. It goes to God's divine orchestration. These sudden opportunities are often tailor-made for your purpose. They may come in the form of a conversation with the right person at the right time, a job offer that perfectly aligns with your gifts, a ministry door that allows you to reach more people, or a resource that removes an obstacle you've been facing for years. What makes them so surprising is that you weren't striving for them. They found you. This is the fulfillment of Proverbs 18:16, which says, "A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men." God knows how to put your name on the hearts of the right people without you having to force it. We often think that in order to be elevated, we have to chase after every opportunity, knock on every door, and network with every possible connection. While there's nothing wrong with hard work and preparation, the truth is that divine opportunities are different. They are strategically placed by God. They don't require manipulation, only obedience. All you have to do is be ready to step through the door when it opens. However, these opportunities also require discernment. Not every open door is from God. Some are distractions meant to pull you away from your calling. That's why, in seasons of unexpected blessings, it's crucial to stay close to Him in prayer. Ask, "Lord, is this from you? Does this align with where you are taking me?" The right opportunities will not only match your skills, but also align with your spirit. They will bring peace, not confusion, confirmation, not hesitation. It's also important to note that unexpected opportunities often come with a stretching process. The new level God is calling you to might require you to learn quickly, adapt to new responsibilities, or step out of your comfort zone. This is part of the preparation. God wouldn't open the door if He didn't believe you could walk through it successfully. You may not feel ready, but He has already equipped you in ways you don't even realize yet. If you're seeing unexpected opportunities start to surface, offers, invitations, connections, don't dismiss them just because they feel sudden. God specializes in suddenly moments. One conversation can change the trajectory of your life. One open door can place you in a position you never imagined. And when you walk through it in faith, you'll look back and see how every step, every delay, and every detour was preparing you for this exact moment. This is what elevation looks like: God placing you exactly where you need to be, right on time, without you having to force a single thing. One of the clearest but most challenging signs that God is about to elevate your life is when you find yourself in a season of stretching and discomfort that feels almost relentless. Everything in you wants ease and stability, but instead you feel like you're being pushed, pulled, and tested from every direction. This is not random, it's intentional. God is preparing you for something greater, and preparation often comes wrapped in challenges that stretch your faith, your patience, and your capacity. When God elevates you, He's not simply giving you more blessings. He's also giving you more responsibility. And responsibility requires maturity. Just like a muscle grows stronger under resistance, your spiritual strength develops when you face situations that demand perseverance. That tension you feel is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It's a sign that He's training you. He knows exactly what your next level will require, and He's building that strength in you now. Think of David before he became king. He didn't go straight from the sheep pasture to the palace. There were years of battles, betrayals, and long stretches of waiting in between. Those years were not wasted. They were the training ground that shaped him into a leader who could handle the weight of the crown. The same is true for you. The discomfort you're facing is forging the character, discipline, and resilience you'll need to stand in your next assignment without being crushed by it. The stretching often happens in areas you'd prefer to keep comfortable. God may be asking you to step into roles you feel unqualified for. Speak up in places you'd rather stay silent, or trust Him financially when the numbers don't seem to add up. These moments are uncomfortable because they expose our weaknesses, but they are also the places where God's strength shows up the most. The Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians 12:9, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Your discomfort is the stage for God's power to be revealed. One reason this stretching is so crucial is because elevation will magnify whatever is in you. If pride is in you, promotion will magnify it. If insecurity is in you, success will magnify it. But if faith, humility, and endurance are in you, elevation will magnify those instead. That's why God works so carefully on your character in the preparation stage. He wants to ensure that when He lifts you higher, you'll be able to stay there. It's easy to misinterpret this stretching season as a sign that something is wrong. We might pray for God to remove the pressure, but often His answer is to strengthen us under it. Just like an athlete can't build endurance without pushing past comfort, you can't step into your God-given destiny without being willing to grow through the challenges. The beauty of this process is that it's temporary. God doesn't stretch you forever. He stretches you just enough to prepare you. And once you've been tested and refined, the season will shift. You'll step into rooms, roles, and responsibilities you once thought were beyond your reach. And you'll realize you're able to handle them because you've already been prepared behind the scenes. So if you're in a season where you feel stretched, challenged, and pushed out of what's comfortable, take heart. This is not the enemy winning, it's God equipping. He's making sure that when the elevation comes, you'll not only step into it, you'll thrive in it. And when you look back, you'll thank Him for every uncomfortable moment that shaped you for the life He was preparing all along.